Welcome to Sports Live Media on YouTube. It's your guy Sports Live with a special Super Bowl edition video tonight. In the 58th Super Bowl between the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers, Kansas City won that game 25-22 in overtime. This is only the second time since they've been having the annual Super Bowl that the game actually went to overtime. With that, let's look at some stats from the game from both sides. In the first quarter, nobody scored anything. The score was 0-0. At the end of the second quarter, San Francisco had 10 points and Kansas City had 3 points. In the third quarter, San Francisco scored 0 points and Kansas City had 10 points. And then in the fourth quarter, San Francisco scored 9 points and Kansas City scored 6. At the end of regulation, it was scored at 19-19. In overtime, both teams are supposed to have possession of the football at least once. The rule states, though, that if one team scores a field goal during overtime, even after both teams have had possession of the football, the other team has a chance to be able to score and win the game, and that's exactly what ended up happening. San Francisco scored a field goal in overtime and scored the 3 points, and then Kansas City got the football back and went down the field and scored 6 points, and that's where you got your 25-22 on the scoring for that. So now let's look at stats from the game. In regard to passing for San Francisco, Brock Purdy had 38 attempts and 23 completions for 255 yards. Juwan Jennings, 1 completion, 1 attempt for 21 yards. The total passing was 272 yards for San Francisco. In rushing for San Francisco, you had Christian McCaffrey with 22 carries for 80 yards. Brock Purdy, 3 carries for 12 yards. Elijah Mitchell, 2 carries for 8 yards. Deebo Samuel, 3 carries for 8 yards. Kyle Juszczyk, 1 carry for -2 yards. And in rushing, it was 110 total yards for rushing. In receiving, Christian McCaffrey, 8 receptions for 80 yards. Brandon Ayuk, 3 receptions, 49 yards. Juwan Jennings, 4 receptions, 42 yards. Deebo Samuel, 3 receptions, 33 yards. Kyle Juszczyk, I hope that's pronounced right, 2 receptions, 31 yards. Ray McLeod III, 1 reception, 19 yards. Chris Conley, 1 reception, 18 yards. George Kittle, 2 receptions for 4 yards. In total receiving yards, it was 276 yards on 24 receptions between the team. San Francisco had 2 fumbles, and both of them ended up being given back to Kansas City. Christian McCaffrey with 1 fumble and Darren Luter Jr. with 1 fumble. San Francisco defense, Fred Warner had 13 total tackles. J.R. Brown, 11 total tackles. Diamador Lenore, 8 total tackles. Logan Ryan, 7 total tackles. Nick Bosa, 6 total tackles. Eric Armstead, 6 total tackles. Javon Hargrave, 6 total tackles. Tashawn Gibson Sr., 5 total tackles. Oren Burks, 5 total tackles. Shalvarius Ward, 4 total tackles. Javon Kinlaw, 4 total tackles. Demetrius Flanagan Fowles, 4 total tackles. Dre Grenial, 3 total tackles. Let's see now. Chris Conley, 2 total tackles. Kevin Givens, 2 total tackles. Chase Young, 2 total tackles. Randy Gregory, 1 total tackle. George Odom, 1 total tackle. Sebastian Joseph Day, 1 total tackle. Charlie Werner, 1 total tackle. Braden Willis, 1 total tackle. Javier Brown picked off the ball 1 time for an interception. Let's see. In terms of punt returns, Ray McLeod I and Darrell Luter Jr. both had 1 punt return for no yards. In terms of kicking, Jake Moody, 3 field goals, 3 for 3. In punting, Micah Wiskowski, 5 total punts for an average of 50.8 yards. Now, let's look at some of the stats for Kansas City. and then we'll do the team stats. We're just looking at the individual stuff right now. But in the team stuff, for individual stuff, Kansas City passing, Patrick Mahomes, 46 attempts with 34 completions for 333 total yards. Let's see, moving to rushing. Patrick Mahomes, 9 carries for 66 yards. Isaiah Pacheco, 18 carries, 59 yards. Rashid Rice, 2 carries, 5 yards. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, 1 carry for 0 yards. In receiving, Travis Kelce, 9 receptions, 93 yards. McCole Hardman Jr., 3 receptions, 57 yards. Justin Watson, 3 receptions, 54 yards. Rashid Rice, 6 receptions, 39 yards. Isaiah Pacheco, 6 receptions, 33 yards. Noah Gray, 2 receptions, 22 yards. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, 3 receptions, 20 yards. Jerick McKinnon, 2 receptions for 15 yards. And for the team, there were 34 total receptions for 333 yards. In terms of fumbles, Kansas City fumbled the football 5 times. Patrick Mahomes fumbled the football twice, didn't lose it either time. Isaiah Pacheco fumbled once, lost the ball once. Richie James fumbled the football once but didn't lose the football. Rashid Rice fumbled the football once and did not lose it. So out of the 5 total fumbles, 4 of them were recovered and 1 was lost, basically given up to the other team. In terms of defense, for total tackles, Nick Bolton, 13 total tackles. Justin Reed, 9 total tackles. Mike Edwards, 7 total tackles. Leo Chanel, 6 total tackles. Mike Pennell Jr., 6 total tackles. George Karifidis, I think that's right, 5 total tackles. Willie Gay, 4 total tackles. Chris Jones, 4 total tackles. L'Jarius Sneed, 3 total tackles. Trent McDuffie, 3 total tackles. Mike Dana, 3 total tackles. Let's see. Jalen Watson, 2 total tackles. Joshua Williams, 2 total tackles. Drew Tranquil, 2 total tackles. Shamari Connor, 2 total tackles. Travis Kelce, 1 total tackle. Felix Anduka Uzuma, 1 total tackle. Tershawn Wharton, 1 total tackle. Neil Farrell, 1 total tackle. Malik Herring, 1 total tackle. No interceptions were picked off by Kansas City. They had no kick returns. Richie James had 4 punt returns for a total of 12 yards. In terms of kicking, Harrison Butker kicked it 4 times and made it all 4 times. In regard to punting, you had Tommy Townsend, who punted 5 times for an average of 50.8 yards. Now, we will move now into some of the other team information regarding the football game that just ended. And with that, let's look and see what the team results were on that. Let me pull it up real quick. All right, now the team stats, since I've gone over player stats. For San Francisco, we'll start with them. They had 23 total first downs in the game. They were 3 for 12 on 3rd down. They were 1 for 1 on 4th down. I'm sorry. They performed 71 total plays with 382 total yards, 13 drives, and they averaged 5.4 yards a carry. They had 272 yards passing with 24 for 39 on the completion and attempts. Let's see. In rushing, there was 110 total yards, 31 total rushing attempts. Penalty-wise, they had 6 penalties for 40 yards, 2 turnovers, 2 fumbles lost, and the time of possession was 38 minutes and 31 seconds, which would include overtime as well. For Kansas City, they had 24 first downs. They were 9 for 19 on 3rd downs. They were 1 for 1 on 4th downs. They ran 79 total plays, had 455 total yards with 13 total drives. They had 325 yards passing, and with that, it was 46 attempts, 34 completed. And let's see, rushing, they had 130 yards. They had 6 penalties for 55 yards. They had 2 turnovers, 1 fumble lost. one interception that was thrown, and the time of possession was 36 minutes and 26 seconds. Anyway, I thank you for taking the time to listen to this Super Bowl 58 summary of what just happened with the final score. Again, Kansas City Chiefs 25, San Francisco 49ers 22 in overtime. I thank you very much for taking the time to listen to this Super Bowl information. I hope that you'll please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, please hit the notification bell so you can be made aware of when I'm going over these special championship events, when I have sports action videos, or when I'm broadcasting live. I hope y'all all have a wonderful evening.